In this section, we're going to look at how to scan for and take action against sensitive content that may be in your Office 365 tenant or indeed on your network drives. Now, by sensitive content, we mean documents containing information such as passport numbers or credit card numbers, these sorts of things. And using Essentials, we can identify these documents and take actions against them. So, for example, we can produce a report describing where all these documents are, or we can take even further actions like have those documents deleted if they're found to be containing certain types of information. So let's work through some examples to see how this works. So I click onto the Informant tab, and I browse down into my example tenant here into Meta 1. I'm going to work today with the IT site. So if I right click on that and choose to view in the browser, that will load the IT site. And then within there, I have a document library which contains documents that contain sensitive content. So this is what we're going to be looking for. So if I click into this document here, for example, sensitive content example 2, it contains a document with the word eagle and also two numbers in the format 2 characters -5 characters -6 characters. So we're going to set up two examples. The first one to find documents containing the word eagle, and the second one to find documents containing serial numbers in this format. So in order to do that on the Informant tab, firstly we need to create some rules. Now there are some existing policy groups and rules that have been created by default. For example, this one which will find documents containing credit cards, and this one will find dates of birth. But today we're going to create some new rules to find some specific content. So under rules, I'm going to click create, and I'm going to call this rule find eagle. So under the file property conditions, I'm going to go down and click on document content contains and click add condition. So now I have a condition here. If content of the document contains the list of words, and I'm going to click on not provided and provide the list of words. So I'm going to enter eagle. And I'm not going to check case sensitive, doesn't have to be case sensitive, but I do want to match the entire word. So when I click finish, now the statement has changed. Content of the document contains a list of words. Eagle matches more than 0. Now using this section down here, I can add more conditions. So I could say it has to find eagle and something else or something else, and specify multiple conditions by continuing to add. So I could say maybe name, document name contains, and add that as a condition as well. Just remove that for now. So down in the bottom section here, we choose what happens when it finds this data when there's a match. So we can do things like create a CSV report that lists all those documents, or delete the object, change a metadata setting, copy the document elsewhere, change permissions, or change the versioning. So for today's example, I'm going to write a CSV report. So I'm going to write that to, save it on my desktop and call it Eagle CSV. There we go. And this section here, custom fields, you can add additional columns to that CSV should you wish, which you can then use later. But I'll leave that blank for now. I'm going to click finish. So that is now a rule. So what I'm going to do next is put it into a policy group. So that's neat. So I'm going to go and create a policy group. I'm going to call it find eagle and click finish. So that's up here now. I'm going to right click on my policy group, click add rule, and go down to where it says find eagle and add that to the policy group. So you see it sits within there. You can add multiple rules to a policy group should you wish. So now we have our rule, it's in a policy group. The next thing we can do is run it on our Office 365 tenant and surface that information. So from here, I've selected my policy group find eagle. I'm going to go and select the source. So this is where it's going to scan. So you see, it's actually by default gone to resource type file system. We can actually scan file systems as well. We'll do that in a later example, but today we're going to scan Sharepoint. So here we can paste the URL of where we want to scan. If I click on this drop down, a list of the URLs from the tenant I've connected to are already there. So I'm going to go into sites Meta 1 IT. There we go, and connect to that. And select IT and click finish. And now when I click start, it will start analyzing that site, looking for the rule or the word eagle within documents. So I click on start, that's now going to start searching. So you see very quickly it found the 3 documents where the word eagle was planted. And now if I go and view the CSV, which is on my desktop, and open that up and expand these columns out slightly, we'll see that it shows the site URL, the list URL, the file name from within Sharepoint. And then as we move to the right here, it shows the reason this document has been flagged. So the policy rule was find eagle, and the satisfied condition was the document contains the word eagle found once. So it gives a very good description of why it's found that document, and it's very easy then to go to browse to where it is if you wanted to take some corrective action. So that's a simple example. Let's look at a slightly more complex example, and that is finding serial numbers in that format that we saw in the sensitive content documents I'd planted. So let's go and create a new rule and call this find serial numbers. And now instead of the file property conditions, we're going to drop this down to regular expression based conditions. So now we've got 2 options: a document name regular expression, document content regular expression. So we're going to search the content of documents. So again, I click document content regular expression, click add condition. So we've got here document content to match regular expression not provided. So I'm going to click on that. And here I have to enter the regular expression that's going to help us find this information. So I've got an example here in my notepad of the type of regular expression we need. So this is going to find serial numbers or numbers in the format 2 characters hyphen 5 characters hyphen 6. So I'm going to copy that and paste it into there. There we go. Okay, so now we have our regular expression, and it's looking for matches of more than once. So again, we can choose to take actions. Once again, let's create a CSV report of these files, and then we can reference that afterwards. So I'm going to click add action, write CSV to, I'm going to put it on my desktop and call it serial numbers, and click save. And click finish. So now we've created our rule. Again, I'm going to put that into a policy group. So I'm going to create a policy group called serial numbers. And click finish, and then right click on that, add rule, find serial numbers. Okay, so as before, we can go and select the source we want to run this on. So let's drop down again to SharePoint and go and run it on the IT site, which is down here. Click connect, select the site, click finish, and click start. Okay, so very quickly it's found those 3 documents, and now again if we go and reference the CSV for serial numbers, just expand these columns out slightly. Again, we've got the site, list, file, name, content, and once again we have the satisfied conditions. Now, what's interesting in this case is that the document contained more than 1 serial number. So here it says document content is matching the regular expression and contains, and it shows which 2 numbers it found. So that's very handy if you want to observe why the documents have matched. So we can also run these rules on a local disk or a network drive. So again, if I go back to Essentials and I go and point serial numbers, this time let's go select source and go local disk, users, Joburn, documents, example file share. In fact, let's do the whole example file share. And again, click start. It's going to look for these documents on my local disk. So here it's found 4 documents. In fact, there was another document I had on there called the IT Word document, and there they all are. And now if we go and reference the CSV, you see it has a list of where those documents are on my local disk. And again, if we go to satisfied conditions, document contains a match to the regular expression and contains this particular number. If I just expand this out slightly further, it shows the path to the source file and the file name. So you can also put multiple rules in a single policy. So for example, the find eagle policy group here, if we wanted to find eagle and also serial numbers, if I go and add the rule here, find serial numbers, now they're both within the same policy, so I can run them both at once. So now if I select a source, let's go again with the IT site, down here, connect, and click finish, and this will run both of these rules and produce discrete CSVs for both. So you can combine multiple rules in a policy group if it was desirable to run them at once. So again, if I hit start, it will now run both of these rules. There we go. Now if we look at the desktop, we've a CSV for each of the rules that have run, and they contain the data of where those conditions have been matched. So that's how to scan for and take action against sensitive content using MetaLogic's Essentials.